Hello, I'm Dick Burkhalter. On this video, we'll look at examples of 3 low-cost captioning methods. The methods we show here are for open captioning, not closed captioning. They're also for post-production captioning, not for real-time. First, we'll look at captioning with a titler. Then we'll look at 2 programs that run on personal computers, Simple Caption and HyperStudio. In the manual that comes with this video, I refer to the booklet Captioning Key from NAD's Caption Film and Video program as the standard to use for captioning. This booklet is only about 30 pages long, but it's packed with important information about captioning standards and guidelines. You really should have it before you begin captioning any videos. It's free, and ordering information is in the manual that comes with this video. That said, I've actually violated these standards in some places because of the inability of the products I'm using to adhere faithfully to them. Besides captioning videos for people with hearing loss, the methods described here can also be used to subtitle programs in other languages. For example, the HyperStudio program is being used here in Hawaii to build a library of videos to teach the Hawaiian language. As another example, our main industry here in Hawaii is tourism. Visitors from Japan account for nearly half of our arrivals. These methods could be used to put Japanese subtitles on videos.
This is the famous Wailua River. Boats take you from here to the Fern Grotto.
And finally, Andy Baird, who we meet later in this video, used his program, Simple Caption, to caption a friend's wedding video in both English and Hebrew. There are many reasons to caption videos beyond simply accommodating those of us with hearing loss. The first approach is to use a simple character generator or titler, such as this Videonics TitleMaker 2000. There are a number of similar units on the market. This is one of the most popular because of its features and price. All you need to do this is 2 VCRs, a TV set, and the TitleMaker. You don't need to use fancy, expensive VCRs, but they should at least be the 4-head type so that pausing will not cause the picture to jump, flutter, or smear. The captions you're seeing right now, by the way, were not created on the TM2000. In just a moment, we'll show you an example of what captions will look like when done with this equipment. Hookup is simple. You connect the play and record VCRs to the TM2000 with ordinary AV cables. These cables are available in most electronic stores and cost about $15 or $16 for a 6-foot cable set. Then hook a TV set to the record VCR using a standard coaxial cable. Your setup is almost exactly like you would use to simply copy a tape, but with the TM2000 in the middle. Check the manuals that came with your VCRs to determine if you should be using any special settings when copying or dubbing. Before you start, you need to decide what typeface, size, style, and color you're going to use to caption. Your captions are going to overlay the background video image, so it's important to choose these settings to achieve the maximum contrast and readability. We start with a blank page and set the text to the bottom of the screen. Next, we'll pick a typeface and size, one that will allow us to have 2 lines on the bottom of the screen and take up no more than about 1/4 of the screen. Next, we'll pick a letter color. White or a light yellow generally are the most readable, and since the bottom of our frame is going to be a light color, close to white, we'll choose yellow. To make the letters more readable, we'll put a black outline on them. You'll see how it makes the letters stand out when we show the captions with the video. We'll set the background to video so that the captions will be superimposed over the video footage. Now we type in the captions. I've already typed these in so you aren't bored watching my typing. Notice that the captions are set flush left and inset 1 space from the left edge of the screen to be sure they're totally visible. Earlier, I promised to show you what captions from the TM2000 look like. Well, here's an example. As the scene plays, I'm pressing the play key on the TM2000 to display the captions I just typed. Of course, there really is no narration on this video. Just imagine a typical sports announcer yelling excitedly. There are some general guidelines that we must be aware of and are in the captioning key booklet. We should use no more than 1/5 or at most 1/4 of the screen for captions. You can set the font size so that you can get 2 lines of about 6 words per line on the screen. If you're captioning a video for small children or people with low vision, you may need to use a larger type and fewer words at a time. Next, we need to leave the captions on the screen long enough to be read. A rule of thumb is that an average adult can read captions at about 120 words a minute, or 2 words a second. If your audience is children or people with low reading skills, you may want to slow that down to 60 words a minute. Once you've determined how fast you're going to display the captions, you can then figure out how many pages and how much memory you will need on the TM2000 for your video, based on its running time. For example, let's say we have a video that runs 5 minutes and we want to caption at 120 words per minute. That means we'll need enough pages for 120 times 5 or 600 words. If we figure we'll have 5 words per line on the average and 2 lines per page, then we need 600 divided by 10 or 60 pages. On the average, a word contains 5 characters. So if we have 600 words, that means about 3,000 characters. The TM2000 has an 8,000 character memory, so we can fit that in. You can press Command M on the TM2000 to see how much memory you have left. Now, before we run off and start captioning, we should be sure that our master page is set up just as we want it to be. What we would do is type a couple of pages of captions. Then we would make a short test, like you just saw with the boat races, and watch the results on the screen. If there's a problem, it's better to find it out now before we've typed 50 or so pages of captions and then have to go back and correct them all. Once you have your setup correct, then it's time to listen and type. You will need to start and pause the VCR in order to keep your typing up with the spoken words on the tape. There will be times when too many words are spoken to conveniently fit onto just 2 lines per page. When people speak very fast or use long words, you may have to summarize when you go back and edit. The first thing you will notice when you try to use the TM2000 for captioning is that the keyboard is not designed for speed typing. Once you've entered in all the captions, it's necessary to go back and review them. Check for typos, spelling errors, or other problems. In situations where there are too many words to be displayed in the time available, you'll want to summarize. The booklet Captioning Key from NAD's Caption, Film, and Video program, which I mentioned earlier, has some important guidelines about summarizing. It is helpful to read and follow those guidelines. After proofreading, it's time to make the first attempt at applying the full captions to the video. Set the TM2000 at the blank page just before the first caption page. Press play to set it into run mode. Set your VCRs to play and record, and press pause on both. Then release both VCRs, and when the first spoken word is heard, press the play key to bring up the first caption page. Continue to paste the captions with the soundtrack by pressing the play key until the entire program is captioned. Until you gain experience, you are bound to make timing errors or other mistakes. Review the caption tape and note where the problems happen to decide what to do about them. Then repeat the captioning process from the beginning. While the Title Maker 2000 isn't an ideal captioning machine, it's a viable option if you have more time than money and some very short videos to caption. It's perfectly adequate for public service announcements, emergency warning bulletins, commercials, and short informational videos. The second method is to use a computer with software to put in the captions. This is more expensive than the titler method, but it gives you a lot more flexibility and helps you get the job done a lot faster. Obviously, for this method, you need a computer. This is an Apple Macintosh Performa 630 CD, a low-end Mac. It costs under $1,000 new with the monitor. You don't need a supercomputer to do captioning. The first program I'm going to show you is called Simple Caption. The author of Simple Caption, Andy Baird, is going to give you a short demonstration and tell you about his program.
I'm Andy Baird, and I've written Simple Caption, a little program that lets you add open captions to any video source, whether it's videotape or laser video disc or even from a live camera. Simple Caption isn't fancy, but it's free and it does the job, and it's pretty easy to use.
To use Simple Caption, you need what is known as a scan converter. This is the Televise Pro, which costs about $500. It does two things. First, it translates the signals from the computer's monitor to the signals a TV needs. And second, it synchronizes or locks the image from Simple Caption with the images from the tape you're captioning so that you can display and record the combined image. These devices are often called Genlock boxes. The manual that comes with this video lists a number of Genlock boxes with their sources and approximate prices. You control Simple Caption by using the setup screen. You use this screen to pick a font, size, and color and other options. The help screen fully explains all the options, and you can print it out for reference purposes. Using a blue background displays the captions in a black box, as Andy's video shows. This has been found to be the easiest to read. Using the black background displays the captions like subtitles in a foreign film, superimposed over the video. This may or may not be right for your video. You will have to test to be sure. The Macintosh cannot display outline letters like the TM2000 can without special fonts, so you have to be sure that your captions are readable when shown over the videotape. The sample text box shows what your text choices will look like. You can move this box around to fit the TV's display area, not the computer monitors, which may show a larger image than the TV does. Of course, we need some caption text. If your project is short, you can type your captions directly into Simple Caption's text area. For longer projects, it's preferable to create your captions in a word processor and then load them into Simple Caption. Here's the script for this video, which I created using a word processor. All I had to do to make the captions was remove the stage directions and size the lines to fit the caption area. If you have a script for your video already in the computer, this may save considerable time. When we're ready to caption a video, we click on the Begin button, and the screen shows us some simple directions. They stay on the screen for a few seconds and then disappear. Now, every time we press the space bar, a caption pops up. Watch me caption the first scene of this video with Simple Caption. Hello, I'm Dick Burkhalter. On this video, we'll look at examples of 3 low-cost captioning methods. The methods we show here are for open captioning, not closed captioning. They're also for post-production captioning, not real-time. One minor drawback of Simple Caption is that it doesn't allow you to change typefaces, size, or color as you work. All the caption text will be in the same size, color, and font. As I mentioned in describing the TM2000, you also need to do a little testing when you use Simple Caption before you caption a whole video. Pay particular attention to the appearance and readability of the captions on the TV screen. The fact that Andy makes Simple Caption available for free makes up for its limitations. Information on how to get a copy is in the manual that comes with this video. The third approach that can be used to create captions is by using a program called HyperStudio. This program was designed to help grade school children create their own multimedia productions on a computer and record them to videotape. You don't need a high-powered computer to run HyperStudio either. HyperStudio will run on older Macintosh models like the LC3 or Color Classic, and it's also available for IBM-compatible computers that run Windows. You can use the Televise Pro scan converter with HyperStudio too, but I'm going to show you an example of another setup that costs a bit more but gives you additional capabilities. Instead of the Televise Pro, we'll use a video mixer and a plain NTSC converter. This unit is an LTV Portable Pro from Focus Enhancements and allows the computer display and TV display to show the same image. Some NTSC interfaces only allow you to display one or the other. Some of the newer Macintosh computers made with the AV designation don't need this interface as they have it built in. Since the mixer will perform the Genlock function, we can get away with a less expensive NTSC converter for this program. The LTV Portable Pro sells for around $250 to $275. This mixer is the Videonics MX1. I picked this one because of the features it has for video editing that suit my needs, but other mixers will also work. The important features you need for captioning are the ability to split the screen horizontally, to create a variable size picture-in-picture, or PIP, and to chroma key. The MX1 performs all these functions. Mixers which will do the job range in price from $500 to well over $1,200. The Videonics MX1 falls in the middle of this range in price. Videonics equipment is widely available from retailers and via mail order. HyperStudio is different from Simple Caption in that it's an authoring system rather than a pre-programmed product. You can use HyperStudio to make your own version of a program like Simple Caption. This video is not intended to be a tutorial on using HyperStudio. HyperStudio is widely used in the educational field, so if you're an educator, you may already be using it. If not, the first thing you should do is get a copy of HyperStudio, read the manual, and learn how to use some of its basic features.
Oh no, not another computer manual.
I heard that. Don't worry. This manual and the tutorial that comes with HyperStudio is intended to be used by grade school kids. So if you can't get through it yourself, find yourself a grade school kid to teach you how to use it. Okay, now you're expert enough in HyperStudio to understand what I'm going to tell you. Keep your grade school kid handy, just in case. This is the first card of a stack I created. Each card contains only 3 elements. The first is the background, which is shared by all cards. It's totally black. The second element is the text box. This box is made just big enough to hold 2 lines of about 32 characters per line, which is the recommended standard. I'm using 30-point Helvetica font, which is a good choice for most captions using this method. The third element is a button, which occupies most of the rest of the card above the text box. The button is defined with a next action, which means that it will go to the next card when it is clicked. This is the simplest way to caption using HyperStudio. You create captions by typing the text into the cards one card at a time. You can copy and paste from a word processing program if you already have the text in your computer. When you are typing text, you can emphasize a word by making it bold, like this, or italic, like this. Or you can add emphasis with color, like this. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. When we've typed all the captions in and made all corrections and changes, then we need to make one last change before we're ready to caption the video. We need to set the text box to read only on all the cards. This does 2 things for us. First, it makes the text cursor disappear so it doesn't show on our caption video. Second, once we've locked the text by making it read only, our little next button reacts to either the enter or return key as well as to the mouse click. Until we make the text read only, if we hit the enter key, it will push the caption text down one line, causing it to disappear, and that's not good. This example uses the MX1 mixer's ability to split the screen horizontally. Notice that the screen is split just enough for the captions to show at the bottom. This method has one disadvantage. It cuts off the bottom of the video image, so if there's any important information there, it's going to be lost. When I made this video, I made sure there was enough room at the bottom of the screen for captions. Here's the first scene of this video, captioned using the method I've just shown you. Hello, I'm Dick Burkhalter. On this video, we'll look at examples of 3 low-cost captioning methods. The methods we show here are for open captioning, not closed captioning. They're also for post-production captioning, not for real-time. One thing you can do to save a lot of time is to create a stack of blank cards and save that as a master. When you go to do a new production, you just make a copy of the master stack and give it a new name. Then you won't have to create a whole new stack from scratch. Make the master stack large enough to caption a good-sized video, say 200 cards or so. You can always add cards at the end if you run out. This time we'll create a picture-in-picture by sizing the video so that it doesn't take up the full screen, leaving room for the captions at the bottom. Using this method, we waste a little space on the sides, but we don't disturb any part of the video. We have to make a very small change to the stack for this method. We have to make the menu bar invisible on all the cards, because they would otherwise show up on the top of the screen. All we have to do is jump to the last card, pull down the Extras menu and select Menu Tamer. This lets us hide the menu on all cards in one step. Then we use the Move menu and select Back, or use the keyboard shortcut Command tilde to jump right back to the card we were just working on. Now I'm going to show you the opening scene of this video using the mixer's PIP function. Here are 2 versions, one without and one with a border around the video. Use whichever you prefer. Select the border color you want on the MX1. Hello, I'm Dick Burkhalter. On this video, we'll look at examples of 3 low-cost captioning methods. The methods we show here are for open captioning, not closed captioning. They're also for post-production captioning, not for real-time. Hello, I'm Dick Burkhalter. On this video, we'll look at examples of 3 low-cost captioning methods. The methods we show here are for open captioning, not closed captioning. They're also for post-production captioning, not for real-time. The ability to vary the text and its placement on the screen is one of the features that makes HyperStudio attractive. Even though the master stack has the caption area defined on the bottom, you can easily change the size, shape, and location of the text box, as well as the font size and color on individual cards. You could put captions here, 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 or even right here. This last example of HyperStudio uses a different method, this one with a text box like Simple Captions. In fact, this is the stack that was used to caption most of this video. The text box is created as a centered box large enough to display 2 lines of 32 characters in 30-point Helvetica type, but you can move or change that from card to card. To make the screen clear between captions, you just make the text background blue, like this. We aren't showing you a separate demonstration of the opening scene in this video using this stack, simply because this is how it was done in the first place. Well, there you are. We've shown you 3 methods to do captioning that are inexpensive and easily available. None of them is perfect, of course. Each method has its advantages and disadvantages. For a fraction of the cost of commercial closed captioning, however, you can caption any video. So what's possible from here? It's my hope that this video will result in more people captioning their programs. I hope it encourages others to investigate these and other possible solutions and spread the word around. There are many programs on the market that were designed for multimedia presentations. Perhaps you know of some that can be used to create captions. As digital video becomes more affordable, new captioning methods must follow. If you would like to comment on this video, or share your ideas with me and others, or tell me about a new captioning method you've developed or discovered, you can write or email me at. Please do not send your orders to this address. Sales of this product are being handled by the organizations listed in the reference section of the manual. So long for now. I look forward to seeing your caption video soon.